There is no way that this just happened. And following a very disappointing past couple of games, the Leafs disappointed once again in an absolutely brutal game against the Boston Bruins. That being said, Austin Matthews was the star of the show for about 10 seconds. And then in overtime, the Leafs fall brutally after a really rough turnover by Austin Matthews. What's up, everybody? I know I'm a little bit late. We squeezed this one in here. I didn't think I was going to be able to get live tonight, but I watched the whole game. What a wild, wild game. And there's so much to take away from this. There's so much to go over. I don't even really know where to start, but the Leafs got a point, and we'll start right there. The Leafs got a point. They were able to salvage a point. They should have gotten two. They had numerous chances throughout the entire game. Anthony Stolarz had another great game. They were able to get a point, and we're going to go through the positives and negatives of course, the loss here. But what are all your thoughts in the chat? I mean, obviously, again, Saturday night game, primetime, hockey night in Canada against the Boston Bruins on the road, following two brutal losses in a row. You really were hoping that they'd be able to come out here and really just have a statement win, and I don't know if that's what they did. And they definitely didn't have a statement win. They had a loss, but I was hoping for a little bit more. What's up, Shane? Hope you're doing well. What's up, Villa Chad? It's an interesting one. What's up, Jay? Again, apologies for the late upload. I got home in a jiffy. I was watching the whole game. Didn't think I was gonna be able to make it, but it was a crazy game, and I figured I promised you guys I'd be here for the stream on Saturday, so I got you guys with that. But there's so much to take away from this game, and it's disappointing. The result is disappointing. That being said, I thought for almost the entirety of this game, especially in the fourth period, and they had two shots on goal up until the last couple minutes there, that they were not going to be able to even get a point. And again, I'm kind of taking some positives and negatives out of this. The positive is the fact that they were able to secure 1 point. The negative is the fact that they should have won this game. They should have won the game against Columbus. They really should have won the game against the St. Louis Blues. Not saying they're playing well, but they should have, just played harder. And there's a lot of things to go over in this game, but it's unfortunate because Austin Matthews, he had a phenomenal last 2 to 3 minutes. Like, he was doing everything right. And then, of course, in overtime, all of that was taken away to a degree by his, we're going to call it a egregious turnover. I think egregious turnover is probably the best way to say that. No worries, Jay. Darius might be tuning in depending on what's the vibe. Yeah, we're trying to get Darius in here, but we can go over the game. Now, everybody, if you're in this chat, what's up, Jose? What's up, Jose? Hope you're doing well. Brutal season start. Yeah. So Leafs moved to 4-4-1. And again, they were able to get a point out of it. I didn't think they were going to be able to salvage a point from this game. I figured they were only going to be able to, I thought they were going to lose. That being said, man, do they need to wake up. They had like two shots on goal throughout the entire fourth. The Bruins were obviously, credit to them. They were defending well. They were playing keep away. Like, they were not trying to give the Leafs any good chances at all. And they got a few good chances. You rewind and you rewatch the final 5 minutes of that game. You had multiple chances. You had a Morgan Riley shot on goal where Swayman ran across the crease and got the save. That one was iffy. You had at the end when Lorentz had, right after Austin Matthews' goal, Craig Berube puts out the fourth line with Steven Lorentz. He comes an inch away from scoring to win the game. It would have been a buzzer beater. They would have won the game. Blake, Toronto loses against Winnipeg. I'm going to lose it. Monday's going to be a wild game. We're going to dive into that as well. And it's thank you so much. I don't have the donation animation on me. I lost it for this scene. But Blake, thank you so much for the 279. Again, the game against Winnipeg is going to be huge. We have a lot. Can we get a Mo chant going? Is Mo in here? I need to move on from some people. There's a lot of things to take away from this. But you think about the Steven Lorentz. Right after Austin Matthews scored, everybody was hyped up. Everybody was super gassed up. What's up, J Money? And then after that, you blinked, and then Steven Lorentz had a chance on the wraparound, a wide open goal. He missed it. And you rewind even before Austin Matthews' goal, he had another chance to score, and he double clutched, and he whiffed, and he didn't score. The Leafs could have had 3 goals in the final 5 minutes of the game. Maybe even 4 if you count the Morgan Riley one. Probably not going to count the Morgan Riley one because that was just fine. It was just is what it was. But man, oh man, did they have so many chances to score in tonight's game. A lot of chances, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing, Blake. Thank you again for the 279. No hat. We'll see what the vibe is, but they've lost 3 in a row. Winnipeg is now 7-0. Did they win tonight's game against the Flames is the question. The Jets did. The Jets beat the Flames. I mean, there's so much here. There's so much to go over. Okay, let's all take a break. Let's have a look at the stats of the game. And bear with the setup here. The solo scene is a little bit different. Once Darius comes, he should be joining here soon. So you look at the shots on goal, and Mitch Marner had 4 shots on goal. Mitch Marner had 3 assists tonight. Austin Matthews had a goal and an assist. The brutal turnover. It is what it is. John Tavares was unreal in the last 5 minutes of the game. Other than that, and we're going to get into our 3 stars, of course, there wasn't too much going on there. I mean, again, a lot of the focus is going to be on the fact that Austin Matthews had one of the worst turnovers we've seen in a very long time. Stolarz had a great game despite giving up 4 goals. He didn't have much help behind him. Winnipeg is undefeated. So the Jets are now 8-0. The Jets are going to be, and they are, 8-0. So the Leafs' next game is against the best team in the NHL according to record at 8-0. And that is on Monday night. Again, they were able to get a point tonight, and we're talking about the division that the Leafs are in, keeping up with Tampa. They beat Tampa. Florida, of course, is off to a fairly hot start. They need to win these games and get these points. That being said, salvaging a point from this is respectable. It is respectable, and I'll take it, but it's not good enough. Saying respectable is not good enough at this point. We're gonna try to get a live Zoom for it. We're gonna get Darius in here right now. Can we type in the chat how disappointed we are? Let me rephrase. Yes or no, everybody in the chat. Are you concerned about the Toronto Maple Leafs? Are you concerned heading into Monday night's game against the Winnipeg Jets? Again, the Jets are going to be an absolute challenge. They won tonight's game, by the way, with Eric Comrie in net, not Connor Hellebuck. What's up, Calvin? What's up again, Jose, Luigi? Blake Sim with a 279. Blake, thank you so much. Your generosity is very much appreciated. 1 second. Who scored the last goal? Give me a second. I'm getting Darius in here. We're about to get Darius in the in this. Are you concerned? Yes or no? Is it panic time for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Darius, you are in here. They can't hear you yet. Can't hear you yet. What's up, Rick? Hope you're doing well. Brad Marchand, by the way. Sorry, Blake. Brad Marchand was the one who scored the goal off a brutal turnover by AM here. Thanks again for the 279. Yeah, Brad Marchand scored the last goal off a horrible turnover by Austin Matthews. That being said, Austin was the only reason that we were in. Honestly, you could say he was the only reason we were in the game in the 4th period anyway. His forechecking was phenomenal. He was battling every time. He was the only reason the Leafs had a chance in the end of that game. That being said, that turnover cannot happen at any level of hockey, let alone in the final stages of the game here. So, Darius, welcome in. Welcome in. We're gonna get you going here. Just give me a second. Okay. It's me right now. It is me right now. We need to trade some people. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's some things that need to be done. There is some things that need to be done. I know we're working with some stuff here. If you lose on Monday, then I will be concerned. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. And Darius, I'm curious to see if you are concerned here, and you are here. Everyone, welcome Darius into the cut. Darius has entered the cut. Darius, they should be able to hear you now.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly. We did not expect to be able to stream this game tonight. We're just going to rock with this scene for now, so I don't have to set up the other one quite yet. But everybody, welcome Darius in. If you're in the stream right now, hit the like button. Welcome Darius in. Darius, you're able to make it. This is the box score for the game. Darius is here.
I took the private jet, so I got here on time. And and round of applause, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Nick, for adding me on the fly. Not easy to do what he just did. So love it. Thank you, Nick, for adding me here. But I made it. And the Leafs got some things to say. Leafs lose in overtime again to Boston. Not great. Stolarz with a great performance, as you can see here. We have some charts we might get into at some point. I might send those your way. You can send them along.
Yeah, the only screenshot I got is the box score. This was a very on the fly one. And while you're on that, I am going to add you to the main one here. So everyone say hi to Darius. And again, the big one here, Robert Bet. Give me a moment. Darius is here. Darius is here on both fronts.
There we are. I'm working on the fly here, trying to get some stats, some interesting stats. Statistically,
Robert with the donation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my Jim is here too. Okay, we're here. We're alive. I'm gonna read one at a time. Again, thank you, Blake, for the donations. Robert, we beat the Jets 5-0. It's a leafy thing to do. I sure hope they beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-0 after the Jets are now 8-0. Donations are flying in, so bear with me here. They're really flying in right now. We've gotten 4 in the last minute. Jim Cavers of the 20, thank you so much. Positive, 1 point when not deserved. Nice Stolars, Tanev. Power play, lack of forecheck, looking scramble areas, level of concern is high. Jim, I'm going to dive into each point of that donation here in a minute. But first, thank you so much for the $5, Robert, the $20, Jim. Blake, welcome, Darius. Did you watch the game? I think Darius was in and out. I think we were able to
in and out. I saw some parts.
And a first-time donator, Simon Stevenson. Trade the whole team. Same bullcrap. Simon, thank you so much. Okay, trade the whole team. Thank you, all of you, for the donations. Thank you again, Robert, Blake, Jim, Simon. There's a lot to go over here. And Jim, I'll make sure to get into each one of your points there. And power play still sucks.
Oh, boy, does it ever.
We're back. Okay. Darius, they asked if you watched the game. I know we were both kind of I watched the whole game, but Shane Turner, Dono Train. Shane Turner has become a member. Shane, feel free to use your emotes. We have new ones on the horizon. We have new emotes on the horizon. And again, there's gonna be a lot of things coming for the donations. But shout out to Shane, longtime supporter. And we could use the Super Mad emote, but unfortunately, he taketh and he giveth in tonight's game. But thank you so much for the donations, everybody. Jim, thank you again. We'll dive into your full donation, Simon. Everybody, the support is great. Darius,
Jim, so far new viewer, and he is the GOAT so far.
New donator, at least. Maybe he was a
coming in new. Yeah, that's right.
What's up, Josh?
Could be a long-time viewer. We don't know for sure, but
okay,
100%. But in terms of the game, watch some of it. Some things, lots to not like. Let's put it that way. Lots to not like, and I kept saying last stream.
Shane,
another one from Shane.
Shane just gifted 5 members. Blake Sim got one of them. Okay, shout out to Shane for gifting 5. So Blake, Tiki, Dragon, Matthew, and George, you're all now members. You have a bunch of emotes. You have some other perks as well. Thank you so much, Shane. And if you got one from Shane, make sure to thank him in the chat. Blake, you're now a member as well. Thank you so much. And yeah, okay, distracted. Thank you so much, Shane, once again. And we're going to get into the Jim's donation and some other things as well here. Okay, I'll you have your thoughts on it, then I'll have my thoughts. Because I'm kind of happy they salvaged a point. I had like a minute there where I was like, at least I got a point out of it, but they need to be better.
I've been talking about this game since the season began, but it would tell you a lot about the Leafs mentality. Pretty weak. It's looking pretty weak right now, unfortunately. And I think deep down I knew the answer, and I think we found it out tonight. And I was really scared of this game because I was like, it's a non-option. You have to win this game, and they didn't. Even though it's in overtime. Like, am I happy that they got a point, Nick? Like you brought up? Yeah, I am. But like, how does your captain give that away in overtime? That was really that is a bad play. He's been fighting it a lot. Yes, he scored the tying goal, but he could have had a couple goals against tonight. He's been fighting it so far this season, and just terrible giveaway. You cannot do that and lost in the game, and you can't lose a game like this. They were outshot. I don't know if they were out hit. I would imagine, but yeah. Not and then the leafiest thing, I can't remember who commented this just a couple of minutes ago. The leafiest thing,
beat the Jets 5-0.
Robert would be to beat the Leafs, or to beat the Jets. Sorry, like that is 100% what the Leafs do. They 4-game losing streak, 5-game losing streak, 8-game losing streak. This is what they do in their history, and then they'll beat a team who's 8-0.
Yep,
like this is what they do. So I'm totally expecting them to win Monday, but the Jets do look pretty good. So it's a tough test. But this is the new storyline now. Couple game slide here where you're not playing well. Can you beat the undefeated Jets at this point?
Yeah, and apologies. I know the screenshot is small, but we're looking at, I mean, we'll get into our 3 stars, but Matthews it's hard to say because like he had a great game. He really did, especially at the great third period, but then he also gave up the game-winning goal, which was unfortunate emotions. Thanks again, Shane. But they'll go to Jim's here. The positives, 1 point when not deserved. Agreed. Nice, Stolars, Tanev, power play, lack of forecheck. The negatives obviously are power play, lack of forecheck, looking scramble in all areas. Austin Matthews' hand injury. I think his hand's going to be okay. Power play is horrific. Forecheck was really bad, and they did look scrambled in the ice. Nyes looked great. Stolars looked great. Stolars gave up 4 goals and still was one of the best players on the ice, by the way. He had so many game-winning. They weren't, but it should have been game-winning saves. Nyes looks incredible. Tanev had a lot of great plays. I still like OEL's game. I still think he's yet to have a bad game. And I think John Tavares deserves at least a little bit of praise for that last 3 minutes. He won 2 crucial faceoffs with the goalie pulled, which led to the Austin Matthews goal. They could have had the Steven Lorentz wraparound goal, which would have won the game at the buzzer. That should have went in the net. I don't know what happened there. Before Austin Matthews' goal, he whiffed on a shot that probably also should have went in the net. You had Morgan Riley have a chance, a great pass. I think it was from Marner. I'm not even sure exactly who it was from. I think it was Marner in front of the net. Fine save. So many chances to win this game and steal it. They stole a point. And funny thing that kind of got lost in all of this was, driving me nuts. Brad Marchand had a wide open, before Austin Matthews even scored and was an empty net, had almost a wide open net, and then he lost the puck as well, which could have ended the game. So you can be grateful that they got a point. You can also be upset that they should have won the game. But at the end of the day, boy, oh boy, do they have some soul searching to do with this team. Steven Lorentz had a good game as well. He could have been the hero tonight. Could have pocketed the game winner. He didn't. But yeah, it was interesting. And the defensive pairings were strange. You think about it, they finally make a change in the defensive pairings, and the most goals let in front of Stolarz, or by Stolarz throughout the entire, his entire season so far. So
yeah, they get a point. I guess you can look at it that way. Like, they get a point out of a game where they definitely didn't deserve to win that game, right? Like, you get a point out of it, which is fine, but you gotta like work to get these points. Like, you gotta look like a team who deserves to be in these games. Look how much high-end talent, how much money you have wrapped up in only a couple players, right? We keep talking about it. Like, something's got to give it at some point. And switching a couple players too, like Robertson, I don't think looks out of place. I feel like he's had some bad luck so far this season. We touched on it a little bit. Here I go back to Nick Robertson.
He had a horrific penalty in the fourth.
Definitely.
They beat it though. So
right, and the penalty kill looks pretty good this year.
Yep.
Like, overall, it looks pretty good. The power play is, I just cannot believe they continue to do the same thing. I cannot believe that I'm watching this for real.
I think they had 2 shots on goal with like 3 minutes left in the fourth, or the third period.
The third period, yeah.
And they had a power play in that period, and they had 2 shots or something throughout the. I don't know. Whatever.
But does everyone? And I hate to compare because you can't really. But did you watch the Bruins power play? Like, how not even scrambly, but like. They set it up, they get the shot that they want, and then it's a scramble after that, and they're getting a couple chances based off that. I don't see that with the Leafs power play. I don't. So cause for concern. They got to clean that up quick. I mean, we're 9 games in now, and I said I wasn't going to panic till 15. We're closing that gap very quickly. We only got 6 games here and another busy week and weeks coming up here. So they got to get back to work here quickly. Like, Berube cannot be. It's your top guys too that are the problem the last couple of games, is it not? Like, it's your top guys. That's the problem.
It's everything. Now, again.
Yeah. Not the goaltending, though.
Nope.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Thank you, J Money. And yeah, if you're in here, hit the like button. Late set. Well, at least for me, it's later, but it's a Saturday night stream.
Thank you, J Money.
Somehow we managed to both be here, and Darius was completely said he was out tonight. And if you turned into the last stream, I was in a maybe. We got it done. Even though it was a heartbreaker. But I mean, I didn't even feel a heartbreak when Austin Matthews turned that over. I was just kind of like, well, it happened so fast. I was like, well, that's interesting. It's an interesting one. Jim, welcome to the Elite tier. You now have emotes, a bunch of other perks as well. We're having brand new emotes added this week. So we're going to have a ton of new emotes added this week for you as a member, which will include a ton of things. And we're going to have you guys vote on what emotes you want, which players. We have everything is coming over the next week or two as we finalize that. But Jim, thank you so much. Your unwavering support is appreciated. Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, Marner had 3 assists. I think he had a great game. I mean, there was one play where he definitely should have shot the puck. It would have been a goal. But he decided to pass it. And he's very passive when it comes to shooting. But I can't really fault Mitch Marner for this. He had 3 assists. He had 4 shots on goal. And he has been a underrated, extremely good penalty kill forward for this team. And I got to just give him credit where it's due. I'm not a huge Mitch Marner fan. He had a good game. I don't think he's been great this season. I don't know if he's playing like a $12 million player, but I do think that he had a good game tonight. And as you go down the line here, Nye's great game. Riley had a goal, fine game. Tanev, like, it's still the top guys though, and it's just this is a weird game. It's a weird game, but I mean, like, Matthews had a good game, kind of.
Theoretically, but you can't have these mental lapses in moments like that. That's the problem. I feel like that's their problem. These mental lapses and like crucial moments, like Shane just brought up. I feel the heartbreak in the
Back-to-back
back-to-back
fourth
goals in the
line
second.
goals, by the
I
way.
don't understand that. Why do you collapse like that all the time? I don't understand that. Like, I feel like they're the only team, probably not the only team that does it because we pay attention to them, but
Oh,
why
there's
do I
some
feel
other
like you're the
teams
only
that do
team
it.
that collapses like that? I know there's other teams that do it, but why do you do that? Why do you allow yourself to get in that situation? Like, it happens so often with them, and especially in Boston. Like, what is that? And the Nylander thing. Oh, to get back to Marner, like you mentioned, by all the advanced metrics tonight, he was the best player on the ice. So
Yeah,
he had a great
he
he had
looked
a great
good.
game. Like, I test everything. He was the best player on the ice, and you have to give him give him credit where credit's due. Nylander falling all over the place for some reason tonight. The high sticking double minor, weird penalty. A little bit of a battle there. Stick gets up. I guess he's bleeding and it's a 4 minute. I don't know. They kind of engage with each other. I don't know if I would have called anything there, but and again, like, penalties on follow throughs aren't really, it's just that was a weird one to me. I don't know. But they killed it off. Penalty killed it great. So again, every game, some positive things to pull from, but over the last couple of games, who said it? Somebody just said it recently. The level of concern out of 10, what is the concern level? I say 7. If you asked me 3 games ago, I'd say 0
Yeah,
because new coach and everything, and it's fine. Last 3 games, I've seen some old habits creep back in. Now my concern level is much higher. So
yeah.
I think that was the question mark. We were talking about it in one of the first streams, Nick. If they revert to some old habits, then we have a problem. But they were playing well. Some guys weren't scoring that you'd like to see score, but it was fine because the team was winning.
Yeah.
But now they're not.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, again, it's a heartbreaker. We saw Pacioretty go in today. We saw Philip Myers make his Leafs debut.
Yep.
The blue line pairs were interesting. They obviously went OEL in the first pairing with Morgan Riley there. I don't know if I loved it, but I mean, it got Morgan Riley a goal technically.
Yep. Yep.
Even though OEL obviously didn't assist it. So I don't know. It's interesting. The power play is somehow got worse from last year and continues to get worse. One shot on a 5-on-3 and questionable possession concern level 7.1.
That's 7.1.
Yeah, I think my concern level right now is about a 6.5. It's just early in the season for me. I'm also a bit more, which is funny. I'm not usually the optimist, but I feel a bit. I don't know. I still think they look like a different team. I just don't know if it is some of the same habits that passed it. 3 bad losses in a row. 3 bad ones.
It is. They're terrible losses.
And if you would
They're
have came
really
in and you would have took care of business against the Blues and the Blue Jackets and you lose this game in overtime, I would be like, okay, stuff happens. But they haven't done that.
people would still be mad. Let's
Oh
not.
yeah.
I would probably be mad because I just don't like. We don't like the Bruins. Like, you got to beat the Bruins. Like, there's just something there, right? Like, you have to beat the Bruins, and they didn't do that, even if they were to have won the last 2 games. But it just makes it that much worse. And like, I mean, there's silver linings. Like Mark said, you score a goal up a man, even though it was 6-on-5 with the empty net. But the power play still is an issue. But I think there is a lot of reason to still be optimistic,
I'm still
for
optimistic.
sure. Yeah, I just think that there's a couple issues we're seeing right now that if they don't get these ironed out, or if we don't see noticeable change over the next couple of games, they're going to be real issues because we've seen them in the past, and they've plagued this team before. So you gotta. I cannot believe the power play.
Yeah, it's generationally
Like,
bad.
this is a story here. Like, this it is really bad. Like, and they're I can't remember what they are now, but probably. Oh,
Simon with the 5. Do you see a major trade happening if this play continues? I think if I don't know about like it depends. It depends where they are at the deadline surrounding Mitch Marner and things like that. Obviously, he would be the big major trade. I could see a world where Mitch Marner gets shipped off if play continues to be mediocre by the deadline. But other than that, I do suspect, and we know a trade is gonna happen before November 1st, or some sort of transaction is gonna happen in the next 4 days, and something's gonna change. But yes, Simon, I think I could see trades. I mean, if they're hovering around near 500 and out of the playoffs at the deadline, then the Marner thing gets way, way more tricky.
I am curious to see in the chat. Comment yes or no. If the Maple Leafs are out of a playoff spot by the trade deadline, do you see them moving off of Mitch Marner? I think that I'm very curious to see everyone's thoughts on that.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. I don't see them being out of a playoff spot at that time. I think they're gonna, figure it out. I really do. Yes, thank you, Simon. I do believe that they're gonna figure it out. I think they'll be in a playoff spot. They're just too good, like, on paper. I think that, like, they have to be there. They really have to be there. But if they're out of a playoff
I think
spot,
they consider it heavily.
I think they consider it heavily.
And I mean, if you're out of a
Seriously.
playoff spot anyway, how much worse can you get by shaking and getting rid of Mitch Marner anyway? Though he's been a very decent player, but that'll be the big conversation of the deadline. Hope the coach doesn't get fired. There's no world. There's no world.
There's no world right now.
Berube,
There's
I don't even
just
think
no
it's
chance.
Berube's fault. I think this team is just playing
No.
poorly right now. It's really bad.
Yeah. And I believe Craig Berube is a really good coach.
He
I
looks
think he's a
great.
very
I
good
mean,
coach.
even
Yeah.
let me ask the chat this as well. On a scale, or we can do the letter scale. What grade would you give based on what you've seen from the Leafs play style, from the way that he's speaking to the media, everything you've seen? What rating would you give Craig Berube from a F to an A plus surrounding his coaching so far?
A plus plus for
Oh
me
god.
personally. I love Craig Berube. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's very direct with the players, what he wants from them. He's not retracting statements like
Yeah, I
that.
got to
He's
give him like a B plus, A minus, and the only reason is because they're 4-4-1. But we
sure,
expected
sure.
some growing pains coming in, anyways. They've been good on paper for
Yes,
years. Yeah, I mean, I
that is a
thought they were going to
fact.
move off of Mitch Marner at the start of the season, but
Yep.
B minus, B minus, A,
Well,
C. Coach makes no difference. A plus plus. Yeah, like I'm fine with anything between a B minus to an A, whatever you want to give him, because coach can only do so much. And I think if we were asked that for the Toronto Maple Leafs team, it would be a bit. I mean, so far, if I was to give the team a ranking, C plus. Like, and if you would have asked me that after Monday's game
yeah.
against the Lightning, it'd be A plus. So it's like,
Right. How quickly it changes. The craziest thing is I don't think this is like an overstatement. After the game on Monday, like that game on Monday against Tampa Bay was probably the best game they've played like in 6 years.
yeah, the
Like
vibes are
legitimately.
high.
Yeah. But it was the style of play. Like everyone was like, well, Tampa's goaltending was bad and Tampa never really got going because the Leafs didn't allow them to get going. Like it was literally perfect. It was perfect. As good as a game as you can play. So the vibes were very high. And then they just completely got away from everything that's made them successful to that point this year.
Power play
It's
coach D
really weird.
minus. Yeah, Jim. Power play coach isn't doing too much. That
No,
being
Mark
said,
Savard. I think they gotta. I don't know if it's. I really don't know what it is at this point. If it's personnel or the actual strategy. Maybe it's just not getting through to them what they need to do. I think it's that because Keith, if you watch the documentary back in 2021, he knew what the problem was. The guys just didn't listen. So I just don't know if it's getting through to them and they're not able to execute. Maybe it's the personnel. I really don't know
it
at
might.
this point.
It definitely might be. If you're in here, let's get to 30 likes. We're at 22. Late Saturday night stream after a disappointing loss, to say the least. The only way I take from this game is 1 point. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, the fact that we got a point from this game is pretty big. I mean, it really is when you look at it from that point. Yes, they should have been better. Yes, they should get 2 points, whatever. There was 2 minutes left in this game, and I thought there was no way in hell they were going to tie this game up just based off of the way the game was
Facts.
going. I just didn't think it was going to happen.
Yep.
And they got a point out of it. And statistically, that point is going to be very valuable. You look at the games that they have coming up next, and I was looking at it here. Jets Monday, Kraken Thursday, Blues and Wild Saturday and Sunday on a back-to-back, and then the Bruins again on a week from this Tuesday. So it's still a lot of
Yep.
games. They have some days off. They have another back-to-back. But Darius, I mean, let's put this into perspective here. And actually, I might grab, if you want to send me a screenshot of the schedule, and we can just for the next 5 games, we can just
Talk
want to go
through it.
through it here. Because at this point, I mean, they're out of a playoff spot, but we can go through the schedule a little bit. It does not
We'll go
get
through a
much
couple of
easier.
them.
It still doesn't get much easier as of right now. Again, the Kraken, they're okay. They're similar to the Leafs. They lost yesterday to the Jets. Also, Darius, I know you were in here probably. Jets won 5-3 against the Flames.
Oh, I saw they're 8-0
So they're 8-0,
now.
and that was
Yeah.
without Connor Hellebuck. So
Yep. Yep. They are everything's clicking for that team right now. So
They're the
you're going
best
to need
team.
a really good effort on Monday
they're
to
the best
have a
team
chance against that
in
team.
the NHL against a very good Calgary Flames team this year. Dylan Sandberg got on the board. That's crazy.
I just sent over.
Okay,
we can
we'll
go
look at
through
the schedule,
here.
and let's just, the reason we do these streams again is to kind of vent these things out. But Brandon,
The other
bear
thing I
with
wanted
it.
to say as you bring up the schedule, and we'll talk about the schedule in a second. I think why people are so mad is like over every little thing now is because the Leaf fans want a team that they can be proud of and proud of the effort, even if they lose. And I feel like that's been missing for a long, long time. Like the last time I felt that was 2017 when they lost to Washington in the playoffs, where you're like, okay, I can see that they're building off something here. It's going to get better. And they lost, but there was a good effort. And ever since that moment, I feel like that's been gone. So I think Leaf fans are really starved for like an effort where they can actually be proud of it. Just for some reason, every time they lose, it seems like a disaster. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're making it that way. Sometimes it seems that way. Like tonight, you can't lose like that in overtime. But let's get into the schedule.
Yeah, Darius, who won the cornhole? Jim. Jim.
Hi. Hi.
Bruins.
What channel is that on?
Maple Leafs Cornhole Digest. Maple
right.
Leafs Kraken. Okay, so you can see here they play the Jets on Monday, 7:30 Eastern. I don't know where did this cornhole.
I don't even know what that is, by the way. I don't know where that came from. That's hilarious.
Maybe you said it last stream. Maybe you misspoke. I think you may have.
Did I cornhole? I said that? There's no way I said that last stream. There's absolutely no. I have no idea where this came from. This is hilarious, by the way.
I love it, Jim. I love
I
it.
appreciate this, but I have no idea where this came from.
Okay,
That's
so the
hilarious.
Jets, they play the Jets, the Kraken, the Blues, the Wild. So, and then the Bruins. So over the next 5 games, like what does their record need to be here over these next handful of games? Like it needs to be
like
better.
you can realistically only lose 2 of them, and I think like it might be like the Jets is one,
Monday.
like presumably. The Wild are a very good team this year, underratedly as well.
Jim said the same. Yeah, I thought you said you were playing cornhole last live. I feel like you also did.
I don't. There's no way that came out of my mouth.
We'll
I'm sorry on the last
Jim,
live.
we'll go
There's
back.
just no way.
We'll rewind the footage.
If it did, I will apologize on the next stream. I'll look for it in the last stream. I'll apologize live on stream next stream if I did say
what
that.
Did you say
but
you were doing? You were.
I just said I won't be available for the stream. That's all I said. And yet
Oh,
here I am.
it was Blake. Blake said cornhole. Jim, I thought the same thing as you did.
See, I was not lying. See,
Blake said he was going to try to tune in because he was playing cornhole. I got it now.
There we go.
I got it now.
And you know what? Credit where credit's due. Blake Sims said that he was going to try and tune in. Here he is.
And Jim,
he
you
was
tuned
playing
in too?
cornhole. That's right. So, and I hope you won, Blake.
Yeah, so I hope Blake won. Jim, that's good memory. That is crazy that you remember.
That is pretty
cornhole,
crazy.
right?
I did not know. Yeah, I didn't remember that. Sorry.
They need to win these games. The Jets on Monday. I hope they win. I think they're going to beat the Kraken, the Blues. I could see them going on a bit of a streak before the Bruins game. Like I could see them losing against the Jets and then winning the next 3. But like, boy, is it going to be a rough game on Monday.
There's a couple storylines here too. So the one against the Blues, you just played them and you lost. Also, no disrespect to cornhole, but I wouldn't play cornhole over watching the Leafs and Bruins. I personally, I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying cornhole is a bad game to play. I'm sure it's very exciting and can get competitive, and actually, might be fun. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I don't think I would skip a Leafs and Bruins game for it though. But the Blues game, Craig Berube's return to St. Louis, and we were talking about it last week. Obviously, you lose to the Blues. Joseph Wolf's from St. Louis. I would assume he gets that start. You got to start factoring him into these starts, right? But it's got to be probably Stolarz against the Jets, Stolarz against the Wild. I think these are pretty good teams.
Saturday, and then Stolarz again Sunday, back to back. Yeah,
something like that. So, and then you got the Bruins again. Like, there's a couple of matchups here where you kind of want revenge, I think, against the Blues and obviously the Bruins, and they're both. The Bruins one is back at home, so you'd like to win that. You got a couple of big matchups with Detroit coming up, in division. Obviously, the Canadians are going to want to win that game because you lost to them on opening night. So
it's a rough one.
It's a big stretch of games. The Senators and everyone's battling in the Atlantic right now. Nobody's really, nobody's taking that.
It's going to be a big set of games, and we'll be live. I think for every one of these, at least for the next 5. Darius, I think we'll be live for all of these 5 as Robert comes in with a 20. Robert, thank you so much. I know it was Matthew's fault in the way he looked at the game. He knew it. He was feeling bad. One of the only guys in this team will take responsibility. How long before Berube goes completely bald? Over under 40 games for the bald Berube. I mean, Robert, thank you so much for the 20. Yeah, if you remember, throw out some of your emotes in the chat. I agree. Like, people are hating on Matthews. Not really I'm not doing it. No, Darius isn't really, but I mean, he was the one who got them the point. Yes, he was the one who gave it up, but technically it's a net positive.
if you want to look at it that way. Also, it was Mitch Marner with a great pass. It was a great look as
He was
well
also
on the tying
battling those
goal.
last 3 minutes. He looked like
He wanted that. He wanted it. But and I'm not going to dump on him because guys like this make mistakes. Like Sidney Crosby makes mistakes. Connor McDavid makes mistakes. All these top end players, they make mistakes sometimes. But the mental, how could you throw that pizza up the ice
I don't know.
to the Bruins? Pasternak, how do you throw that pizza over there? But I don't know. It's a bad play, but he is still the best player. He's snake bitten a little bit now. I'm sure it's gonna turn around a little bit, but yeah, I don't want to dump on him. You could tell when the camera was panning to him, like he looked upset. And obviously, we didn't get into any comments yet after the game or anything, but I'm sure he's speaking to the media. I'm interested to see what he says because you got to take accountability on something like that. So
Not me, Archie. Not me.
no, can't say.
Thanks so much again, Robert. We really appreciate that one. And let's dive into the stars here in a moment. But
Yep.
let's look at some of the game score impact cards. So Mitch Marner, great game. Austin Matthews, great game. Chris Tanev, great game. Matthew Nyes, great game. From there, it falls off pretty hard. And
Yep.
there is something else, and we'll probably have a video on it tomorrow surrounding Timothy Lugan. Philip Myers was the worst player on the ice tonight, according to these metrics.
Philip Meyer, and we talked about how he's more of a physical guy, right? Like definitely more physical than Liljegren. So adding him into the lineup for this game didn't really surprise me in that way because you're playing the Bruins, and we talked about it in our video earlier that the Leafs were going to change their lineup. Like it could have been Hakanpää if he was healthy, right? They're going to change their lineup for certain games. But throwing him in his first game of the year against the Bruins, and this player is, I don't want to say he's not an NHL player, but he's a fringe NHL player, like AHL, NHL. Can't say I'm too surprised. Can't say he's going to stick around in the NHL. I feel like they're going to try and move Liljegren, free up that cap space. Hakanpää is going to come in, maybe take that spot with Timmins. We might not see Myers too often, right? I feel like that's the plan. Like if Hakanpää was healthy, we wouldn't be seeing Myers. I think he would be in the AHL.
Yeah, and I think he will come up. And maybe Connor Dewar factors into some of this. Well, it's time for now for our 3 stars of the night. Alan, let's have some positivity. You're a lot of negativity out there, a lot of it. This is what had the chat's going. All right, 3 stars of the night. 3 stars of the night, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use. I'll keep this up in case you guys want to use this. It's pretty easy for me. Blake Winning Corhole is number 1. Mine as well. Darius, who is your number 3 star of the night?
My number 3 star of the game. You know what? I was thinking about giving one specific player a star, but I'm not going to because of what happened in overtime. So I'm going to go with Chris Tanev for this game. A lot of people said he was old and washed already after a couple games. The way he transports the puck, the way he does the things that you don't notice is super effective for this team. So I'm going to give him.
Notice them.
These cards do notice them. That's right. And that's why I do appreciate these cards and I will use them more often. And yeah, I think they tell the story of the game at times. But Chris Tanev for sure, 3rd star.
Yeah, I'll just go with Austin Matthews as the 3rd star. It's hard to give him a star because he also gave up the game-winning goal, but at the same time, I love what I saw from him most of the game, and in the third, though, it is a bit sacrilegious giving him a star when he cost them the game, but he also got them the point. So tentative 3rd star, Chris Tanev, honorable mention.
That's fair. That's fair. For my 2nd star, I'm going to go Mitch Marner. We're very critical of him on the channel, but I thought he had a great game by every metric, right? Defensively, he obviously set up the game tying goal. He was a really good player tonight. Eye test, analytics, everything. So I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. Mitch Marner was the 2nd star of the game for me.
Mine is Matthew Nyes. Great game from him. Another very good game from him, and he's been not really a hidden gem anymore. He's been just a very good player throughout the entire year. Had the goal early, looked great. So I'm gonna give it to Matthew Nyes there.
My 1st star is going to be, again, because I feel like this is going to be a reoccurring theme over the course of the season, is Anthony Stolarz, because man, he made a couple huge saves tonight and they just can't clear the puck for him, and it's not his fault that a couple of these goals went in. So he really kept them in the game at certain points. He made some big saves. So Anthony Stolarz number 1 again. And that might be, like I said, a theme over the course of this season.
Yeah, Mitch Marner for me was the best player on the Maple Leafs. It was pretty clear. And again, I don't know how many times Mitch Marner's going to get the 1st star because hasn't looked phenomenal so far throughout the year. So I'm going to give him what it is. I mean, yeah, Stolarz played great as well. 4 goals. I mean, the overtime goals are they're 3-on-3 goals. So it's like it affects the goals against average the same, but
he also made 2 huge saves on that, and the 3rd one went in. Like he made like a really big save there. So
What a
He
disappointing,
tried to keep them in.
disappointing game.
The Amazon thing, not every Leafs game on a Monday is on Amazon.
Some of them,
So
no. I think the
some of
Jets
them
one
are.
is, right?
It is. This Monday is on Prime,
So if
so
you
you
missed the
need Prime to
game,
watch
we
it.
will be going live after the game, breaking
Yep.
down everything in detail. So you're gonna want to stay tuned for the Monday stream. We'll be definitely going live after that one.
Yep.
And again, it'll be an
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah,
that's going to be.
We're gonna be going live win or loss after that one. Because if they lose, boy, we're gonna have some more to say. Because isn't that 3 unfortunate L's in a row? But at least
I could see them.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
I'll say at least tonight we won a game, got a point. We didn't win, but we got a point. So
yeah, it helps, right? At least you didn't lose in regulation, so there are some silver linings. And I could see the Winnipeg Jets game, like if they are able to beat the Jets, like I could see them
Huge
going on a bit of
momentum
a streak.
shifting.
Yeah, huge shift in momentum there if they were to beat them, because
Paul.
this team's 8-0, 8-0. So if you're able to beat them, like the morale is going to be through the roof. So it's a big game on Monday, and they get a little bit of a break next week too. Like there's more gaps in between
3
games.
days.
Like this was a busy
a
week.
couple days. They have a back-to-back
Yeah.
next weekend. Blake, I hope you guys go live every game.
Thank
You
you,
guys
Blake
make
Sim.
tonight. Blake we'll be going live. We didn't think we were gonna be able to do it tonight, but if we can ever squeeze it in on days where we don't, we should be live for like every game or almost
I would
game.
suspect like
90% of the games.
Yeah, like just assume we're going live after the game.
Yeah, every time. Assume we are. And if not, we'll probably we made it happen tonight with both of us here. So one of us will usually be live. I was ready to go solo today, but like we'll make it happen.
You started it, so credit to you.
Yeah.
Actually, to add me in, everyone, like I said in the chat, adding me in halfway through. It's not easy.
Done.
I was done. Got it done.
Eternal Leafs first star, Leafs Digest, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. If anything, and I will say this, looking ahead now, there's a reason the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. It's a lot of things.
I love it.
That's a Leafs quote. That's a life quote. That's a life quote, but it's not
a Leafs quote now.
It's a Leafs quote now. They need to look ahead. The past doesn't really matter at this point. Like, yeah, it sucks. They need for the team, it does. Learn from your mistakes, watch film or whatever. But for us, and just for like the fans and even just the team in general, this is a huge game on Monday. The Jets are the only undefeated team in the NHL. I don't think they played. They definitely don't play anymore. That'd be 3 in a row. So they're going to be going in after 3 brutal losses, hopefully with a chip on their shoulder, and one of the most anticipated games so far at the regular season. It's very rare you get to see any of your teams play. Like we're obviously Leafs fans, play against an undefeated team at 8-0. If they can be the team to knock them off, and then heading into what's a bit of an easier part in the schedule for a couple games in theory against the Kraken, Blues, and Wild's not really easy, but Kraken and Blues. The Blues lost tonight to the Montreal Canadiens, so huge game Monday. So make sure to tune in for that stream. It's going to be I think either way, win or loss. Hopefully they win. It's going to be a wild one, no pun intended. And then hopefully they can get things going here because they got to get it going really soon.
Yeah. Another exciting game Monday. I'm looking forward to it. And another Prime game. I really enjoyed the last Prime game, I have to say. I know a lot of people didn't because they can't watch it, but I thought they did a great job
that's
with
another
it.
Thing. We'll give you
yeah.
in detailed analysis.
Definitely in depth on Monday. Yeah. But yeah, I think I really enjoyed the last one, so I'm excited to watch it. And again, the other
shout out Robert.
To Robert.
He is the man.
Appreciate that.
He's the man. I think Solar does play by the way.
Stolar should play Monday.
I will be upset. I'll be very mad if Joseph Wall plays Monday. That would be a hell of a matchup to give Joseph Wall though in a second game against the Winnipeg Jets, who,
yeah,
I mean, are just, I don't even know what to say. They're absolutely rolling.
They're on a roll. They're on fire. Like you got to play your best goalie here. You got to play your the hot hand. And the Jets are coming for the Leafs record of hottest start to a season ever. The Leafs started 10-0 in 93, 94. So the Leafs. Try and stop them from breaking your own franchise's record, please. That would be nice on Monday night. But it's gonna
have to score on Connor Hellebuyck. They're gonna have to score on Connor Hellebuyck, and he has been one of the best goalies in the league. So that power play is gonna have to start power playing because if it doesn't, it's gonna be rough because
everything's got to click for them. They have to have they got to dig in.
They need to play like they did on Monday against the Lightning. That's what needs to happen, and then they'll win hopefully. But the thing is, there is a world where they have one of their best games of their season, and Connor Hellebuyck. You think about it like the Rangers game, they played very well. Like they've gotten goalied a little bit. I don't buy in fully to the goalied thing because you can always play better. That being said, they've had some rough goalie matchups, but on Monday, if they go out and they make a statement, Jim with the 5, if the Leafs don't show up Monday concern level, it's gonna raise. It'll raise, and we'll be here to redo that. Jim, thank you so much for your support. Jim, we'll have another concern level. Honestly, we'll call that either way. Even if they win, we'll have a concern level vote. Sorry, Nick, I like you too. Robert, thanks for the two, Robert. Appreciate the, I know you do. Appreciate the confirmation, though, on that one. That's it's good to know. Blake, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good night.
I think my concern levels, in terms of Jim's comment, they're rising. They're rising as we creep closer to game 15. So they're rising for me. And Paul, the year you're thinking of was 92, 93, where they made it to the conference final. 94. I think they actually also made it to the conference final, but they lost to Vancouver in 5 games. So it was a different year. But yes, it's gonna be a crazy week again coming up this week. The Leafs got to win 2 games here, I think. Yeah. I really do think they got to win at least 2 games coming up here.
Yep, they definitely do. And if they don't, well, it'll be a rough go. But that'll wrap it up. It was we still, we managed to make it happen. So shout out to everybody who tuned in to the stream. Yep. We will be live again Monday. We had a video earlier today if you want more Leafs content, and tomorrow we'll have a video for you guys as well. So make sure to tune in to that one. But shout out to everybody who tuned in. Should have 1 video, maybe 2, depending on stuff that happens, but probably 1 video tomorrow. Darius, any final thoughts? It was I was riding the high of that Austin Matthews goal. I did not think that was going to happen, but ultimately they lost. They got a point. We move on. Winnipeg Jets on Monday, biggest game of the year so far. I mean, all of them at this point are probably the biggest game of the year. But thank you all who tuned in. Darius, any final thoughts? Thank you, Paul, for tuning in. Mark, everybody.
Nice little battle back there to tie the game, but you know what? Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Blake Sim, I think you're already gone, but thank you. Yeah, I think I don't know. You love to see them tie the game there. It's a good feeling, but left a sour taste in my mouth. I hate losing to Boston. I hate losing in overtime, and we'll see where this takes them now. It's pretty interesting going into Winnipeg. Yeah, on to the next, but the next is tough. They gotta come out.
Everybody, let's just lock in for Monday, and it's going to be a huge game. They need to win. There's going to be a lot of anticipation for that game, even just across the NHL, because the Jets are still undefeated, looking to break the record and go 11-0. So tons to look forward to still as a Leafs fan. The hockey's been fairly fun to watch. But at the end of the day, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll have a video for you all tomorrow afternoon. And have a great night. And we will now leave you with the outro. And we will see you guys in tomorrow's video or on Monday. Jim, I love the new outro. Well, you're about to see it right now. Thank you again for your support. Jim and everybody else, Robert, Blake, Shane, everybody. Have a great evening, and we will see you in tomorrow's video.
Digest your daily dose of